Have you ever wondered why so many people do not trust mechanics or why some cars fail earlier than expected? Today we're going to be diving into the real truth about the business of being a mechanic, what the customers get wrong, the hidden struggles that mechanics face, and how technology is changing the game forever. If you're someone who's owned a car, who's thought of owning one, thought of being a mechanic, or you're just somebody who doesn't want to get ripped off by your mechanic, this is that episode for you. So let's get right on with it. I'm Miee, your host, and you're welcome to the 6th episode of the podcast On the Ride with Me. Today we have with us one of, yet another best mechanic that you can find in Lagos and its environs. Someone in the person of Toby, whom everybody fondly calls Smiles, depending on what you know him as. He owns where we are right now. It's a mechanic garage called Smiles Autos, and he deals or fixes as many brands as you can think of. Yes, his expertise is that he has that range. So I'm just going to let him have the floor, do the rest of the introduction, and then we can go proper into the reason we're here today.
All right, hi Dion. Welcome to Smiles Autos. Glad to have you back. Exactly, a member of the family.
Thank you.
So it's good to be here. So I guess you have some questions for me today.
Definitely, a very interesting conversation actually.
Okay, so
we're going to be talking, or you're going to be telling us about the business of being a mechanic. Yes. Both within the shores of our locality, Lagos, Nigeria, and you can expand that to globally, just as much as just share experience and all that. But before we dive right in, I would like for you to just share with the audience a bit about yourself. Who is Toby? What inspired Toby to become a mechanic? Why did you open up Smiles Autos?
All right, my name is Toby Smile. I'm Chief Laborer, Smiles Autos. I think I set up this workshop officially, I think it was in 2016. Okay. I've been doing this a bit longer than that, but officially as a business, I think it was in 2016. I actually got into auto mechanics in a very strange way. I didn't even know I was there. I didn't know how I got there, but it's something I've constantly done, from growing up, fixing things, to having that real interest while in school, going to learn on the side. I got a job as a mechanic somewhere. And, I kept building. I didn't like the narrative of so-called mechanics. Even my parents were not too fond of the idea of their child being a mechanic. And I was like, you know what? Actually, we'll change this narrative. And here we are, 2025. We're growing. We're still moving,
That is very awesome. Well, I'm glad you opened this up.
Yes.
I don't know if I may, but yeah, I did intern with Toby 2-3 years ago. A bit. That's why I've forgotten everything.
Disappointment. What do you mean you don't remember anything?
Okay, not everything, but I've forgotten. But I'm coming back, sure.
At least I know you were serious with AC.
Yes.
So at least
that one I can't forget.
That side of auto mechanics, you should be solid in it.
Very solid.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So do you possess any certificates or licenses that sort of guarantees your current choice of occupation?
So I do not possess any certifications, right? Because I don't belong to any body. There's usually bodies that issue this kind of things. And in Nigeria, it's more of a trade license. I went to university, so they'll tell you, with a university education, why are you going to get a trade license? This kind of thing of them saying there's a certificate and there is a diploma, then there's bachelor's and all of that. So you already have a bachelor's or you have an MSc. Why would you go and get a trade certification? I think in this industry, what you truly need is the actual skill set, not certifications. Nigeria is, and this part of the world, though, it's not about certifications. It's what can you actually do. Actually, everywhere is what can you actually do.
So you said that you've had this business since 2016. It's about 9 years.
Yes.
That is quite a while, actually. That's awesome. What are the challenges you faced so far with handling this business?
So challenges, I don't even know where to start from. But I would, start by saying running this business has been a blessing. It's been amazing. It's given me opportunities to learn more, to meet more people, to impact a lot more lives through the people that work for me, through my customers. It's a beautiful experience. But as with every business, there's always the downside to everything. So I don't want to look as if I'm just pulling out negatives,
Yeah.
so I don't discourage people. I think we say, okay, in this our business, I think one of the major problems we do have, I think you probably hear from everybody, is parts.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that's always because I think a mechanic or a workshop is only as good as the parts they install. Because you could be the best mechanic, with the wrong set of parts, you look like an idiot. Like you do the same thing over and over and over and over again and not get a good result. We have some other challenges, but I wouldn't call them challenges. I'll say it's a learning curve.
Okay.
Especially with new technology, you have to pause, take a break, and go and re-educate yourself. Yeah. So that's one constant thing I love about this thing.
It's not even information, but a lot of people have certain beliefs or thoughts about mechanics, more like misconceptions. So what are some of these misconceptions that you're aware of, and how are you able to deal with them?
Okay, so I think one of the general misconceptions we always have with mechanics is, or actually artisans in general, is this guy is trying to scam me, this guy is trying to take advantage. And the truth is, once you already have that preconceived notion in your mind, you're going to be on guard. I understand the Lagos way of, everybody be sharp, be looking out for yourself, and then that now filters down into all these things, The main thing is, a mechanic will tell you things that don't exist in your car. Yeah, they'll tell you things that, they did not replace. And I do see that. I see cars coming into the workshop. Person is giving you, I just changed this. This gives you a full list. By the time you put the car on the lift, everything looks old. None of these things were changed. So I think it's first, you need to find a workshop that you can trust. Because that trust and that open communication between you, the customer, and the workshop servicing your car is really important. Because at the end of the day, they're the professionals, and at the end, you have limited knowledge about it. I don't think you go out and start taking the car apart and say, did they truly change this or that? Some mechanics, they have their own reasons for doing all the fraudulent things they do. Maybe for some people, it's born out of experience of what they've seen. It's like how I know some people now. In fact, I've learned that now certain jobs, I know that job can take me 5 minutes, right? But I know if I tell that customer, I can do this job in 5 minutes, he's not going to pay what I want. So instead, I'll tell him it's going to take 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason that happens is because it's from my own lessons that I've learned. Because every time I've told somebody I can do this thing in 5 minutes, or I do it in 5 minutes, when it comes to paying what I ask for, this, that's something that you did in only 5 minutes. They did not ask me
what it took.
Yeah, what it took to do that thing in 5 minutes. Because there's some jobs you can bring to me, it will take me 5 minutes. Take it elsewhere, it might take 4 days. There's some things you might bring to me, might take 4 days, take somewhere else, it might take 5 minutes. So you need to understand that there's a learning curve. There's what has brought that person to where he is. There are several factors that inform the pricing. You say, I took my car to a mechanic, told him to change my oil. Did he truly change it? Or he's charging me for X type of oil, 5W30 synthetic. Is he truly using synthetic? Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of those things happening. A customer comes in and says, my car has been serviced with synthetic. That's what they've always used. I look in the car, you can tell this thing has never seen synthetic oil in a day in its life. Obviously that person has been conned. So I can understand people being being paranoid.
Yeah.
Their insecurities or their misconceptions are somewhat right. And on the part of the mechanics, a bunch of them, I bet they would have different stories to tell as to why they do the shady things they do. But I don't want to judge anybody based on his own, everybody's experience is different.
So, before we talk about pricing, how can a client then determine a workshop that they can trust in, these cases? Or are they just keep going to be doing or trying the trial and error method?
Well, I can't speak for other people, but I'll say, if you're looking for a mechanic you can trust, call me. That's the only thing I'll tell you now.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'll tell you.
Okay, so let's talk about pricing now. I know you mentioned experience,
Yes.
personal experience being a factor on how you charge clients. Are there any other factors that are considered while charging clients?
Any other factors that are considered while charging
While
clients?
billing your clients?
No, actually, it's basically what's the work that needs to be done. What is required for this work to be done?
Yeah.
What's the cost? How many hours do we have to put in to get this thing fixed? Do we need to use any special softwares? Do we need to bring in outside help? Do we need to, it's a different thing when you're doing a service at home and you're doing in the office. You have to factor in, what's the cost of going to buy that material? Or what's the cost of if this part fails under my warranty? What's that cost I'm going to factor in to get this thing replaced at no charge to the customer? Some places will charge you 2 times what you'd probably see something because they're going to give you 2 times the length of warranty the other person would give you.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Yeah. So sometimes that pricing sometimes even is more about that length of warranty.
Yeah.
You see that people that give you longer warranties will probably charge you a lot more. Because the probabilities of these things breaking down, you've now increased that, you've exposed yourself. Your risk is now greater because it's no longer 2 months or 3 months. It's 1 year. And then cars being driven on Lagos roads, only God knows, what truly happens.
Yes, true that. Okay. Are there any ways one can tell if the mechanic is overcharging them?
I don't think there's any way to say, your mechanic is overcharging you.
Okay. Why do you think so?
So the thing is your mechanic giving you the value that you're paying for?
Okay.
So it's a value system. I'm paying X naira. Am I getting X value? So it should not even be, because same with somebody tell you, this thing I could get it cheaper elsewhere. What's the value that you're getting from that place? There's some places you do something and you can't even go there after 1 week. Nobody's going to listen to you. So that's the value you are talking about. Some shops you go there, you work on your car, they remove 10 screws, they return 4. Is that value that they are returning to you? That will determine what, is it equal to? So you have to evaluate this yourself. That for the amount of money I'm paying, am I getting value? If you feel you're not getting value, I'll say try somewhere else.
There's also the part where some of them actually, it's okay to reconsider the deal that your mechanic has given you, but you also need to, just like Toby mentioned, really factor in reason. Are you getting value for your money? So yes, that's
So we're getting value for your money, you're fine. If you're getting value for your money, it's not stressing you, your car goes in, it comes back, you have peace of mind. There's this thing they'll say, don't fix something that's not broken.
True.
You can find ways to improve on it, right?
Yeah.
But just let it be.
Okay. I have a very interesting question, but to lead to that, let me ask this. Do you think that there are cases where the client is the problem?
Yes.
Can you cite an example?
Okay, so this thing happens sometimes. In fact, once I notice that thing, I try to always dodge such customers. So a customer might know that, oh, there's 5 things wrong or 8 things wrong with his car. And then he sends it to the mechanic. And you ask him, what's wrong with your car? And he will refuse to tell you. You say, don't worry, just check it. Then that guy, same person will complain that, oh, his car wasn't well fixed. Because, oh, the mechanic is not good because he didn't find out about the X, Y, and Z problems that he had noticed. So it's a very simple thing. If you went to the hospital, right, and the doctor asks you, oh, what's wrong with you? You keep quiet and say, don't worry, no, just be running tests, just be guessing. You'll figure it out at some point. How would that help that doctor get to what you truly need? You know, your car cannot talk to an extent. There's, oh yes, being able to get information from diagnostics, test drives and all that. But then remember, the way I'll drive and the way you will drive might be 2 different ways. I can drive a car for 1 week and the particular issue might not show because we don't have the same driving pattern. Maybe the customer is somebody who, once he starts his car in the morning, he drives, you know, with a heavy foot, and I'm just leisurely driving the car. I won't see the same thing now. You know, so is he really gonna say, oh, when I drive the car at 110, I hear a particular noise. Then I'll know, okay, I need to look out for a noise at 110. You know, oh yeah, Lagos State said it's 80 kilometers per hour now, not 110. So they're afraid it's 50k they're collecting per offense.
Oh, it's 50,000.
It's 50k. Wow. 50k. They started sharing the tickets. Yeah, they started sharing the tickets. So,
okay.
So Olu, please help us.
Okay. So, do you have any experience you'd like to share with us? Maybe one time you had like a misunderstanding with an interesting client like this.
So, thing is, look, as with every business, you know, like I don't think there's any business that exists without complaint or some. There's always some, yeah. Because the thing is, it's 2 people. One person is parting away with money and he has his expectations, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes people over-expect. So that's why I'd rather under-promise and over-deliver. So when sometimes you over-promise, the client's expectation is expecting this, but then you know that, oh, from the beginning, it was like sometimes, that means in paying jobs, right? I know, oh, for this car to come out well, I need to replace this bumper, this, that. Replace, not repair. Yeah. The customer has opted to repair. He has insisted that, no, that's what he can afford, right? Mm-hmm. I know that job is not going to give me what I usually expect. But then you sell the customer that is going to get the same thing. Tell him, look at that car there, you get exact same results. You've overpromised, and you know that car is not going to get that. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes mechanics need to learn to be truthful, however bad it may sound. I understand we're trying to make a deal, you're trying to make a sale, so you say what needs, but in our business, we already have that thing of, oh, these people are trying to scam me, these guys are doing. So just tell them the truth. They might not like it, but tell them the truth anyways.
Okay, so I mean, these days we've had an influx of recent technology, and we have EVs, electric vehicles, we have the likes of autonomous cars, self-driving cars, and whatnot. What do you think of this evolution, especially from POV of a mechanic?
Well, I'll say evolution is always great. You know, it's always fantastic to see new things, new ideas, new innovation. Yeah. You know, it's nice. I like the influx of EVs. You know, but I think one thing we need to be aware of is we need to be aware of our environment. Okay. You know, there are some things that it's not for everybody. You know, you have only one car, right? And then you buy a very modern vehicle that there's no single part in Lagos. And then your car now has issues and you're upset, you attack the mechanic. Of course, it's his fault. You know, if you have a one-in-town car, you know, you have to order parts, you must learn that, oh, I have to be patient. It's going to take an extra 2-3 weeks for me to get my parts. I know, oh, the process of diagnostics is not straightforward. You know, like, for example, with Teslas. When I started fixing Teslas in 2019, there was no way for us to do diagnostics. like do proper diagnostics on Tesla. So imagine having to fix problems with it. But imagine a customer being impatient, because now you have to go, as modern as Tesla is, you have to go back to the old school way of fixing cars, which is checking one by one. Because usually with a scan tool, you'll be able to narrow things down. And then at some point, Tesla started selling parts. If you do a registration with them, pay some, and then you can pay for their softwares as well. You have better ways to do diagnostics. But then there's still problems because most car owners who have bought Teslas in Nigeria don't have the cars linked to them.
Oh, so
yeah.
To the first owner.
It's usually linked to the first owners, especially a lot of people who didn't buy these cars brand new. You see there's a lot of problems when they have issues, they want to run diagnostics, and I'm like, okay, please, what's the email address and attached to this car? Because there's no way I can run a diagnostic on a Tesla without you giving me that email address and the VIN number. Because I have to send that back through Tesla servers. They'll send an email to that person, he approves before we can run diagnostics. But a lot of people just have those cars, and so a lot of people just they don't know.
They're just following trend.
Just following trend. It's always, because thing is, you just buy a car, you don't know. So I think people should actually do research before they buy cars. You need to know what you're buying, and you need to know what you're getting into. You should make an informed decision about spending your money. The same way you're looking for good value while selecting a mechanic garage. You should also take that time, do your own scrutiny. Okay, they say I want to buy this Range Rover Vela. What are the common issues? What kind of problems will I encounter? Did I speak to my mechanic about it? Has it said, oh, the parts are readily available? Is this something I have to be waiting for parts? Or, the common issues that these cars have, for example, a lot of the 4-cylinder turbo engines are, they're not really. But then imagine somebody buying that without proper research. He has gone to mechanic A. He said he has fixed the engine. 2-3 months down the line, he's at mechanic B, dragging mechanic A with police, not knowing that his car is the problem. Mechanic B has fixed it for him. And 4 months down the line, he's at mechanic C. In fact, the guy will go out to badmouth mechanic A and B. They don't know work, So things like that. If you're making those careful decisions with your money, who to choose as a mechanic, you should also make those careful decisions with the cars you're about to buy. Doesn't take much to do any research.
Wow. Okay. This is very insightful. Still on, the technological evolution of these cars. With the way things are going, we have AI and whatnot. So do you think that these advancements are going to knock off the need for physical human mechanics?
I would say, so I would speak to this part of the world. I'll speak to Nigeria because that's where we are. And let's deal with issues that face us here now. So a lot of the new cars will say they're manufactured from what year? What year would you say?
Let's say 2023.
So 2023. What percentage of people are buying cars 2023 and up? It's very small percentage. So for now, we truly don't have to worry. The traditional mechanic is still going to have his work, I fix Teslas. I can't say how many Teslas I fix in a year. It's not up to 20. And half the time I get all the Tesla related phone calls, but it's not up to 20. So it's still very new. It's a particular class of people that can afford to buy it.
But are there any skills you think people will need to learn or adapt to be able to, keep up with these evolutions, especially because it's popular belief that no matter what we try to do, these evolutions are going to seep into our environment, whatever.
Yes, yes, I do agree. I think in recent years, because of the influx of EVs and the rest, I know I've taken some courses on electric vehicle maintenance, the electronic systems, high voltage batteries, charger installation. I've done courses. I've done numerous, things to improve my own knowledge as a mechanic, because I know I have to run a garage, and in the cars I'm fixing a bunch of these new cars. I have customers that have cars that are 2025, that are 20. So you need to be in terms and up to date with these things. Yeah.
And this also applies to the likes of our daily drivers.
Yes, your daily drivers as well.
Supercars and all that.
Yes, because like every time there's, you see, even manufacturers still bring out technical service bulletins for cars that they've made 10 years ago. So even the manufacturers themselves can come and say, oh, you know what, this car that we did, we've noticed this error, we made it 10 years ago, but this is what you need to do when you have this problem, because we've noticed this thing is widespread and it needs to be resolved.
Okay, so let's come back to the regular layperson. Let's come back to the layperson, right? You find that a lot of people, because of these distrusts that they have for mechanics, you find that some people try to DIY fix their cars. So are there any common mistakes you see from some of these cars that have been previously DIY fixed and have come to you?
So yeah, okay, so DIY fixing, like as much as I would encourage customers to, you know, try your hand out at this thing, because it really helps, because the customer now actually has insights. Yeah. So when I'm a mechanic and the customer comes to me and says, oh, try doing this thing, you know, even actually sometimes I'm actually excited. So when you're even getting it right, or you're calling me for advice, and you know, some people know they're doing all these things because they're trying to be cheap. Yeah. That's a different thing entirely. But there are some people that are doing that with passion. Right? And like, I'm so excited. Like I have customers who literally, you have, oh, so bring it, we'll come, we'll help you. No, like customers doing DIY stuff, they've made mistakes. Now I have a customer who, somebody replaced his battery, right? He replaced his battery by himself and then said the car wasn't starting. And you know, batteries always have a cap, a black cap on top. That's all he just needed to take off.
So he didn't take.
Yeah, he was just wondering, I know now, new battery now, why would you want to? He didn't know, but like, so like small stuff like that. And then, you know, literally when he sent a picture, I was like, oh, he said this thing. He couldn't even understand what was wrong. But then these things do happen. If it's not your field, it's like telling me, oh, I should go and stitch someone's hand. I'm not a doctor. And obviously there's some things you will not DIY. If you have a small cut on your hand, oh yeah, it's fine to take spirits, clean it and tape it off, you know. But then if you need heart surgery, or you take it to a professional. So there are things that I'll say, yes, DIY. Yeah. You know, there are other things I'll say, you know what, it's best left to professionals.
Okay. Is there any customer experience that has sort of changed the way you run your business, Smiles Autos?
So I would say, yes, I can't say any specific one, but customer relations will guide how your business would operate. You know, first and foremost, as a business, you have to define what you want and what you are doing. Yeah. You know, then you make modifications based off customer inputs. It's like the terms and conditions at the back of my invoices over the years has changed. And, you know, by the time you see a repeated incident, you know, okay, we really need to do something about this, right? So it's like, oh, you know, sometimes you used to do, oh, customer will pay 50% upfront. Yeah. You pay the rest upon completion. You know, sometimes I remember there was a time I was letting customers, oh, after 1 week, pay the balance. But then I discovered after 1 week, you're looking for these people. You know, at one point it became 80%. You know, at one point, so it's, you know, different things will occur. You know, I remember at some point, there's some people's cars that will come in here. I'll be never, because right now, that person, I might never even drive that car at all. If you want to drive that car, we invite that customer and say, come and drive your car by yourself. Yes. Because there's some customers now, customers can, I know I've seen, like you see random things, maybe a car comes in, or maybe I've done oil change, we probably never got in the car. The customer can tell you, oh, one window is not winding up. You know, since when my car came to your workshop, the AC stopped. Madam, we changed oil and oil filter. You know, because of that natural distrust. And actually, I actually learned that people actually do lie. Oh. Yeah, people do lie. Wow. They know things are bad in their car, but they'll keep quiet. Like, oh yeah, this mechanic is not even going to get there. They know, like, but then they'll not bring it up to try and see if they can get you to fix that thing for free. So you see the way mechanics are trying to job people, the people are also trying to, everybody is snaking each other, and it's so bad because it affects, you know, so many business relations. You know, because there should be a right way, there should be honor among people, you know.
But why did you say madam?
No, just nothing. You're sitting in front of me now. He said, no, men have done bad thing now. At least all the fake transfers I've seen in my life is men. Fake transfers I do is men.
Wow.
I'm not. No man has done fake transfer.
That's actually another thing you didn't mention.
Yeah,
Fake
no,
transfers.
fake transfer.
That's
Customers do fake transfer.
wild.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do send you receipt and all. So the same way. So it's things that every sort of fraud that is common outside, perpetrated by everybody that is not even mechanics, expects it in any business. I'm sure, see the same way. I think people were commenting about Dirty December. Somebody was saying, oh, these people went back and they started filing chargebacks and saying they were fraudulent expenses.
Yes, yeah.
You went somewhere, you drank, you had fun, and then you now go back to your country and now try and say, oh no, I didn't approve of any of all these things. So people are, I don't think it's a mechanic thing. I think it's a people thing. People are bad. A subset of these people become mechanics. People are bad if subset of these people become car dealers. People are bad if subset of them become politicians. So it's not unique to one trade or one profession.
It's just an individual.
Yeah, it's a people thing. You're bad. There's nothing you can do about it. If you become anything, it's going to show in that,
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, now this is another very interesting question I like to ask. The history and wealth of experience that you've gained so much or so far in the time that you spent as a mechanic, what is the craziest job you've had to work on?
Crazy.
Yes, craziest job.
I don't know. What would you do? What are you define crazy for me?
Okay, let's think of crazy from this perspective. Say how do I put this in words now? Just a job that you would never forget. It could be anything. Just one job that really got you into some kind of place that you would never
Okay, so forget. I remember. Land Rover Defender. I think even you met that car now.
Yes.
When I see that thing starting in my dream. In fact, at one point my ringtone was literally, I did a voice recording of that car, and I made my ringtone. Because I was like, if I'm already here in my dreams, let me just be hearing it all the time. The day that car would start, in fact, I can never explain what exactly we did. And cars can be funny like that. This technology is employed in vehicles and it's not perfect. I don't think there's any perfect car. Which is why I said manufacturers themselves do TSBs 5 years after, 10 years after. For a car, you've been using it for 10 years, but they're still telling you, this thing we did 10 years ago is not perfect. You haven't even experienced it yet. I know there's a bunch of Corollas, I think the South African variant, that the ABS unit catches fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the 2012,
Much for they're reliable.
Yeah, no. Reliability is a bit subjective. All these things one car is economical, one car is reliable. It's all subjective, So those cars, the ABS unit catches fire. Toyota had to issue a TSB, I think maybe in 2020. Even Elizade were recalling some of those cars. But the thing is, because of the information is not yes, a lot of people would have never heard of it. They don't even know the origin of the car, if they can send it back, or if the TSB has been, things like that. Actually, I'm going to say Toyota again, actually. They did airbag recalls on a bunch of vehicles. The Teslas always have to do software update to solve one bug or the other. Mercedes with the camshaft noise, they started selling one-way drain back valves to put. Wow. So probably manufacturers themselves. They know that these cars are not. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. But then you come here and now hold your mechanic and press my neck on top of the 200K that you paid me.
How do you attract and maintain customers, especially being in a country like this, with the kind of people that we have?
I'll say customers. I think the best way, because I don't run any ads or anything, is word of mouth. Awesome. Yes, because there's nothing you believe more than a recommendation. Sure, yeah. It's like, you want to, even I still use that system in my life. If I'll go online, if I'm thinking of, I want maybe somebody to paint my house, I'm going to ask my friend, someone painted your house, it was done well, give me that painter's number. In fact, at random, I'm always looking at people's cars. If I see a car that was well painted, I'll ask you who painted your car, collect that painter's number, I'll try him out, just to see, how good it is. So I know there's nothing that comes better than word of mouth. My business has grown from one customer referring another customer, and that customer, like that. It's been doing
wonders for you.
It's been doing wonders. Yeah, word of mouth has been doing wonders for me.
So this thing you said now just reminds me of a very hilarious episode. Tech Bro Workshop. So Smiles Autos is popularly known as the Tech Bro Workshop in Lagos. And he's right, because all it took was one Tech Bro. And before you know it,
several tech bros.
From one Tech Bro though.
Yeah, no, this was my friend. It was my friend. Yeah, my friends.
His friends. And then before you know it, almost all the Tech Bros in Lagos had their cars here.
Which is why these days we always try and do a pre-assessment to let you know if we're going to take your car or not. I said we keep improving, even terms and conditions from what happens. There was a time, I remember sometime, we didn't used to take cars less than 2010. I know some garages that won't take cars that are less than 2014. In fact, if it's a Range Rover, anything less than 2014, I won't touch it. Because I understand how those cars can be. And I know how expensive their repairs can be. It's difficult explaining to somebody who's driving a 20-year-old vehicle that he has to spend 3 million or 4 million on the car. If you look at it at the end of the day, it's not like, the mechanic is the one getting all of this money. A good chunk of every bill you see goes to parts. So, I now decided, okay, you know what? I wouldn't take old Range Rovers anymore. If I'm going to take Range Rovers, it has to be maybe 6-7 years and up. Not because I cannot fix the older ones, but because the troubles that will come with the older ones is a lot. A car that is already 20 years old or 15 years old, something is going to break. There's nothing you can do about it. There's some cars randomly, you park your car today, and then tomorrow you get in the car, you see a line across the dashboard. Nobody touched it, nobody did anything. But imagine that now happens when the car is in the mechanic's workshop.
And they're not going to want to hear
it. The mechanics, they're not going to want to hear it. After I discovered I'm paying for things that truly are not my fault. These things just happened. Sometimes, yes, mechanics do make mistakes. But when I make mistakes, I own up. I'll tell you, this happened, I'll look for a way to rectify it. Simple. That's one thing. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'll do it. There's no... I went to a customer's place. Long story short, this is quite recent, so December, and glass cracked. The work I went to do there was 1/5 the thing that got damaged. I had no choice. I swallowed the thing. I replaced that thing.
Wow.
Yeah. I replaced it. I just, took it down. Come on. You chalk it up to cost of doing business. So these things do happen. But the thing is, how do you handle it? Are you going to, it's not me, it's not here. A lot of times you see you go to a mechanic workshop these days, the paperwork that they give you going, you'll be wondering, what is happening? Why am I signing these many things? You people, they're taking picture of every corner of everything, single thing they can find in the car. Because they've experienced these things. They've seen customers go, you see customers tell, this dot was not on my windshield before. But damn, the windshield, I know how simple crack can get on the windscreen. Stone can randomly be put in. Imagine I'm test driving a car and a stone hits the glass. There's nothing I'm going to do now. I'm going to have to replace it. All right? So customers would understand and would do it, because especially when customers have comprehensive insurance, which is why I was just you can't sell that thing enough. Have comprehensive insurance on your car for peace of mind. It's a way to reduce your risk. Or more, let me not say reduce your risk. It's like you're taking that risk of owning that vehicle and you're transferring it to somebody else. So at least you can even just breathe a bit better. Because it's going to be a different conversation as against you bringing out the money to buy that windscreen as, we need to file an insurance claim. The insurance company is going to refund us for this windscreen. Yeah, but when you've already spent 1 million, someone now tells you, you have to replace windshield 200K. It's a different thing, which is, in fact, these days we avoid customer pickup. If you've probably not been a customer for maybe about 10 years, I won't pick up your vehicle. Yes. If I've not known you like new customers, I'm sorry, we can't pick up your vehicle. Send your vehicle to the workshop yourself, pick it up yourself, because we don't, we decided we don't want that risk. There's some old customers too that you even drive their car, because they say this one. No, you learn from your experiences now. You learn.
This one is for the people who are looking to venture into this very interesting profession, because we've learned a lot from your experience. Are there any things, or is there anything that you wish you knew before you started up this business, or started off as a mechanic generally?
I wouldn't say the things I wish I knew. The main thing is, if, your experience kind of builds you.
Okay. So?
The sum total of all your experiences. It's like, oh, you've been bitten by a dog before. You know how to be cautious. You've dealt with a customer who has claimed he brought his car with full tank and now the car is empty. So those things would help build you.
Okay.
Right? Because they're the sum total of every single thing. Like, every experience is good. But then there's some things, yes, that is essential to know. One, I think with parts, always try and build a good relationship with your parts suppliers. It doesn't mean they will not mess you up, but always try and have that good relationship. Because a lot of times, that goodwill from parts suppliers sometimes may save you. Because sometimes they will be able to give you things without having to fork out that huge cost. At once. And then because of good relationship with some parts suppliers, you're able to return and exchange and all of that. That's with parts suppliers. With customers, I'll say open communication. Some things I learned, I had to learn the hard way is, tell them the truth like that. They don't have to like it. You're not just doing sales and trying to make a sale. You need to look at it as a business person, that this thing may come back and bite you in the ass. So always open communication and be very straight. And also, yes, WhatsApp, I don't delete chats anymore. Yeah, I keep receipts. Always keep receipts. Okay. Funny things will happen. Your receipt to save you. Take pictures of everything, no matter how minute it is, document it. In fact, if I randomly even say items in the center console, I'll literally take a picture of the items there. So, there's no discrepancy, there's no story, because you want to avoid a lot of that. Those are things you see. Give rules to your staff, or nobody should be found in the customer's car if you're not working on it, because that's when the customer will say, oh, my charger cable is missing. And yeah, that kind of thing has happened before. Somebody has taken out somebody's charger from his car. They didn't put it back. You think something that small, or you hear the insult you collect at night, So small things like that. You have to just pay extreme attention to detail. Try and build a good relationship with your clients. Be honest, tell them as it is. Don't sugarcoat things and make them think that, oh, everything is fine. If there's a problem, tell them as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, earlier in the video, I mentioned that you picked like a wide range of our brands. Are there any brands that you don't fix? You don't touch. You don't want them in your garage and all that.
So there's some brands I don't fix, mainly because I don't want to start building a new relationship, or we're not ready. I don't think we're at that capacity yet that we can add more brands, because more brands means more tools for that brand, more part suppliers you have to deal with. You have to build that relationship, more specialized tools, and then you also have to expand your knowledge on that brand. At the end of the day, they'll say all cars are the same. The basic workings of cars are pretty much the same, from the EVs to the hybrids to the petrol vehicles. You say yes, all the same, right? But then I don't fix Peugeot, because I don't have this thing. I don't fix Volkswagen Group. Volkswagen Group, someone will tell you that's crazy. Okay, wait, I can't say I don't fix I do fix some Porsches. So I fix some Porsches, yes. But I'll tell you that I don't fix Volkswagen Group, you know. If you give me Lambo now to fix, it's a Volkswagen. So depending on the issue I'm at, I'll gauge, look at, is this person struggling to keep the Lambo is struggling to keep the person. You know, that will determine, do you want to collect that job or not, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And then what else? So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it that we don't do.
Because the number of Lamborghini Urus in Lagos.
And now it's Volkswagen.
Volkswagen Group.
Volkswagen is the thing is the brand is very wide, right?
Okay.
And so me saying I'm going to start fixing them is saying I'm going to start fixing Volkswagen, Audi, Lamborghini, Porsche. Yeah, I do fix some Porsches already.
Yeah.
So it opens a whole new thing, you know. You have to be ready for it because you can't now bring it to me and then I start scratching my head and look lost.
Yeah.
You know, I must be ready for it as a business. So is my business ready to take on Volkswagen Group? No. In the future, yes. But right now, no. We'll still take those small works. We'll take a lot more of the more modern ones, maybe from 2017 up. You know, I wouldn't go and fix an older version of a car where I know I don't have the range to deal with it. You know, the newer ones will have less problems. It's a lazy man way of doing things, but yeah, it makes more sense. The newer one, what would it be? Oil change, brake pads, maybe software updates, things like that. But the old ones, you know, there'll be a lot more problems because the older a car gets, the more problems it's bound to have.
Okay, well, this particular question came because, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people just buy cars with like little to no information. Some people buy based off of trend. So we've seen like an influx of these very high-end superior cars. Like I mentioned, we have the bulk of Lamborghini Urus around the country.
Cybertrucks.
We have the Cybertrucks that are pouring in. We have the Rolls-Royce Spectre. That's another one. That's another craze that's about to begin.
That's a rich man's craze, you know.
That's a rich man's
It's not as...
So the question then is, with the influx of these cars, and like you actually said, I actually had to process that again. While we have mechanics, we don't have enough mechanics, and particularly we do not have enough mechanics to take care of these cars. So how do you think these will be dealt with, especially because I'm very sure you're not the only one who doesn't want to expand their range to that level. I mean, judging by, like you said, how broad the Volkswagen Group is, how do you think these things will be dealt with? Because I perceive...
No, I don't think there's going to be any trouble.
Okay.
My dad always says one in town car, one in town problem. Even though I don't kind of agree. I just believe if you have the patience and the money. So which you notice I said patience first.
Yeah.
Because money might not necessarily solve your problem. You will still have to wait. There are a lot of parts you cannot buy, you can't go to local market and buy.
Oh yeah, so apart from that, so like even if there's, I mean, only a mechanic can tell you what part is fixed, but do we have that power? Do we have that mechanical power for the lot of these cars that are flocking in to the environment?
No, I think everybody will be fine, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a good thing. More people should go and become mechanics, you know. As you know, like now I'm not taking all the Volkswagen Group, you know.
Okay, someone else should take on that.
Someone else should take on it, you know. The space is so wide, our industry is so broad. It's so fluid, and the synergy amongst us that run this business is very good because we always collaborate.
Okay, I have had a very awesome and amazing time interviewing Toby and discussing the business of being a mechanic within and beyond the shores of Nigeria and Africa. He's shared with us potential problems, the hidden struggles that mechanics face. He's also shared a couple of experiences with clients and a few things that they get wrong. Yes, we've also touched on the evolution of tech and how that will either affect or make the mechanic industry. And there's been so much to learn from this particular episode. Just like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, if you're somebody who's looking to get a car, who already owns one, or you're thinking to be a mechanic, or you don't want to get ripped off by a mechanic, Toby has answered every single question based off of these. But there's always still room. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, any things or anything else you'd like to know, always be sure to drop those in the comments. And I would like to say a big thank you to you as well for sticking with us up until this extent. I mean, it's no small feat to watch an entire podcast and then learn as much as Toby has shared. You already know the drill. I mean, if you've liked this, do well to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any update. Like I said, we're dropping one episode of this podcast on the ride with me every 2 weeks. And share this because everybody definitely deserves to learn one or two things about cars and mobility in and beyond the shores of Africa. That's what we're about here. So guys, this is Toby of Smiles Autos. I'm going to be leaving his contact in the description box below. And I am Miee. I remain your loyal and faithful host. And this still will always be the podcast on the ride with me. Cheers.